It's Tuesday in Simpsonville, South Carolina, and it's going to be another beautiful day. It's going to be up in the probably low 70s today, and a beautiful sunny day. However, tomorrow it's going back down into the 40s, so 40s and 50s. So we're bracing for the cool weather, but the spring is just beautiful today. I want to speak to you this morning on the subject of anger. I heard a funny story, but it really does drive home the point about anger. A little boy had a real crush on a girl, and these are just little children, 12 to 14 years of age. And he had this tremendous crush, and he came to this little girl and he says, "What would it take to get a kiss from you?" And the little girl said, "Chloroform." Well, he became quite angry, as you can imagine, and then he decided he'd take another pass at it, and so he started to hang around with her another day, and the little girl said to him, "Do you want to take a walk?" And he got really excited because he thought this was going to be finally his chance. He said, "Sure, I want to take a walk." And she says, "Well, good, don't let me delay you." Now, what's the point of those two little stories? Anger comes when we don't get what we want. Let me say that again. Anger comes when we don't get what we want. You see, the little boy wanted a relationship with that little girl, and he didn't get what he wanted. Now, sometimes it doesn't come so deliberately, as the little girl was so deliberate about not wanting to be anything to do with this little boy. Sometimes it comes through sickness, job loss, family relationships. Many things can cause us to not get what we want. However, there are two types of anger. There's unrighteous anger and righteous anger. God got angry. Jesus and the God in the flesh got angry. But it was righteous anger instead of unrighteous anger. Now, I know most of us would quickly say, well, all of my anger's been righteous anger. Well, maybe not. But anger is complex. Anger affects the body, the mind, and the spirit. The body, blood pressure raises, breathing raises, stomach gets upset, perspiration, nostrils flare, jaw tightens. In the mind, all kinds of things are happening in the mind. We lose perspective, we confuse priorities, and we get foggy thinking. And then there's a spiritual aspect. That is, we have an opportunity for the devil to step in and cause us to want to strike back, revenge, do things that are not godly. As a matter of fact, if you look at Galatians chapter 5, verse 20, you'll see the deeds of the flesh are strife, jealousy, outbursts of anger, disputes, dissensions, envy. But the Spirit is just the opposite. The Spirit is love, joy, peace. Now, you tell me which ones of those things occur when we get angry. And then we have constructive and destructive anger. When we get angry, it can be very constructive. It can help us to see perspective. It can help us to right a wrong. But it can also be destructive. In Ephesians 4:26 it says, "Be angry but do not sin." You see, many times our anger kicks on self-righteousness. We seek others' opinion that might agree with us, or we try to justify our anger. Sometimes we try to deflect the anger. If we get caught red-handed in something, we get angry and shift the blame to somebody else. Sometimes we just distance ourselves from the point of anger, avoidance, and don't want anything more to do with that person or that thing. And we very often want to avoid any further hurt. Now, there's a resolution for anger, 2 steps of it. The first one is reasoning. That's the hardest part. Stepping back away from the situation and doing a spiritual checkup. That is looking to see whether we really have spiritual justification for this anger. That's a difficult step. And then there's the resolution step, which says that we've got to make it right as much as we can within our own power. Now, remember, the reason for our anger is that we didn't get what we wanted. And many times life is unfair. Many times life hands us things that certainly cause us to be angry. But those things happen in life. And life is hard. So when we step back and look at the perspective, we need to see then what's the reason behind this. We need to consider others' opinion, but most importantly, we need to understand how this affects others. One of the questions a very wise pastor gave me one time about what to do with anger is he said, when you get angry at something, ask yourself this question: is it a hill to die on? Is this thing really worth dying on? This week in the news, here in the Carolinas, there was a man that killed 3 people. Want to know what the issue was that caused him to kill 3 people? A pair of sneakers. A pair of sneakers caused a man to kill 3 others. Boy, he lost perspective, didn't he? Certainly wasn't a hill to die on. From a godly perspective, we need to remember his promises, that he'll work all things together for our good, and he always does. His people, they're all imperfects. Sometimes people will provoke you. Sometimes people are unreasonable, and we need to remember that we're just as imperfect as they are, be in just different ways. So we need to remember his promises. We need to remember his people. We need to remember his purpose. Anger, when it's dealt with properly, will strengthen us, will develop our character, and will help us to become better people. Destructive anger hurts you and it hurts others. Constructive anger will help you to grow and will give you a peace. And let me close with this, Ephesians 4:25 through 27. Therefore, laying aside falsehood, speak truth, each one of you, with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be angry, and yet do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. And do not give the devil an opportunity. Angry about something? Maybe it's not another person. Maybe it's sickness. Maybe it's the unjustness of this world, loss of job, financial reversals. Don't know what you're angry about today. But step back. Get a godly perspective. Is it a hill to die on? Is it worth destroying your body, your mind, and your spirit? As much as is within your power, reconcile to the situation and let it strengthen you and let it grow you and let it give you a peace. That's your thought for the day. God bless you. Have a great day.